Let's be honest. You suck. And that's a good thing because when you embrace it, that's when you can grow. What's going on, world? Brian Wright here, and you're now tuned into the Brian Wright Radio Show, where we offer value in the form of content that'll help you change your mindset, change your life, and become the best version of yourself. No matter what religion, race, creed, sexual orientation, none of that stuff matters because at the end of the day, we are all the human race. My goal is to tap into this source and deliver this message so that way you could take something from it, maybe apply it to your life, take it out into the world to serve it, and leave it a better place than we found it. That is the purpose of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. So today I got to thinking about this channel. And for those who don't know, this channel is not brand new. I started this channel probably over a year and a half ago. But now I'm deciding to take it to the next level and be more consistent, as you can see, and produce more content. And I remember I hesitated to come back at first because I thought to myself, I don't have the perfect setup. No one's going to listen to me. Why would people take me seriously? Who do I think I am? All those thoughts came to my mind. And listening to those thoughts, I would have never gotten started because I would have been thinking that everything had to be in alignment for me to get this channel off the ground. And I'm learning now that that is not the case because all you have to do is just get started. There's no magic formula to any of this stuff. If you say that you want to do something, start exactly where you are. We are living in a very strange time today where I feel like the internet portrays people to be experts. Everybody's famous. Everybody's at the top. It's very toxic to our minds. And it has people thinking that there is absolutely no process to greatness and that in the beginning, they have to be an expert. And if they are not an expert in the beginning, there is no need to get started. But the truth is, you need to start before you can be great. I believe that we have this mindset of needing to be experts in the beginning due to having real big, fragile egos. Because when you start something in the beginning, you're going to get rejected. People are going to give you criticism on it, and people are going to tell you how you can do it better. And that stings like hell. Let's be honest, because you spend all that time working on it and you think it's great, but you give it to someone and they tell you this can be done better or that can be done better. And we could be like, oh, they're hating, and we draw away from them when really we should embrace it because it shows us that we have room for growth. Nobody wakes up good at the gym, on stage, in business, or on camera. They get good through their confidence of doing it repetitiously and not trying to be perfect. We have to get rid of this mindset that tells us that if we're not amazing immediately, then we're not meant for it. And to give up at the first sight that it doesn't start working. That is what is hurting our movement towards success. Let's be honest. You suck. And that's a good thing because when you embrace it, that's when you can grow. Because in the beginning, it's going to be awkward. Things are going to be messy. You're going to be uncomfortable. But those are the things that you need to go through in order to grow, in order to get better at it. I have been uploading on this channel consistently now, but I went back and listened to the very first video. You know what I discovered? It was terrible. Well, I'm not going to say it was terrible, but it wasn't perfect. I was doing run-on sentences. I wasn't speaking properly. I was speaking without confidence. It's so many things that I can name about that first video, but when I listened to it, I thought to myself, man, listen to the growth. Listen to how much better I'm speaking. Listen to my delivery. Listen to my storytelling. It's all getting better the more that I do it. And that's because what you practice in private is going to eventually show in public. But you have to go through that growth curve. And by doing so, you are guaranteed to know the mistakes that you are making so that way in the future, you don't make the same mistakes. And when you don't make the same mistakes, guess what you become? An expert. Do you know the difference between someone who wins and someone who quits? The person who quits tries to start off perfect, but the person who wins acknowledges that they suck, but they realize that they need to keep going in order to get better. That is the difference. So that is the mindset that I want you all to adopt, because we need to stop this disrespectful act when we think that we are going to go into the industry in the beginning, no matter what industry it is, and that we're going to start off dominating, because that's not how it works. And just know that if someone is at the top of that industry, that they put the time in order to be there. They stayed up late. They corrected a lot of errors. They made a lot of mistakes. They did a lot of things wrong, but they took the time to keep going, and they took the time to self-audit themselves. And as a result, they ended up at the top. But we think that we are going to get to the top overnight. We think that we're going to be the person that made 1,000 videos or 1,000 songs with 10 videos and 10 songs. That's not how it works. Respect the game and know that in this game of life, there are levels to this. And in order to get from level to level, you have to keep getting better and better. And the only way that you can do that is through feedback and through self-auditing yourself through that feedback. Get somebody to judge your stuff, whether it be an amateur or professional, and take that advice and take that criticism. And don't get upset. Don't have your feelings involved, because it's when your feelings involved that you really get hurt. Think about it. I think these videos are great, but then when I drop them, I'm in the beginning. I'm only getting like 10 views, 20 views. I can let that crush my ego, or I can be like, okay, let me keep coming with more videos, because eventually I'm going to get better. Eventually I'm going to find a way that I can keep the audience attached and keep them listening over and over and over again. I don't doubt that one bit in my mind, because I know there's greatness inside of me. But every day I'm in here tapping into it, trying to find it. And when I find it, it's going to show, because the views are going to keep going up. There's going to be more comments. There's going to be more engagement. In order to get your body in shape, you have to do daily exercises of your muscles. In order to get your potential where you want it to be, you have to do daily exercises of your mind. And that involves challenging yourself, stretching your comfort zone, trying new things, learning new things. All that stuff plays a major role in you becoming an expert. And if you're not willing to do those things, and you don't want to put in that work, you'll never become one. I remember listening to Ed Sheeran, and he was on a talk show, and he was talking about how people used to come up to him and be like, man, you're so amazing. How was you born with this gift? And he said it made him think about how people underestimate the power of practice. And he said it wasn't always like this. And he took out his cell phone and he said, I'm going to play you one of my first songs that I've ever wrote. When I tell you that that song sounded terrible, he was singing off key and everything, but he showed you that to show you the power of practice and growth. Back in the day, his songs were probably terrible, and people probably told him, no, you're never going to be a great songwriter. Stop, give up. But he kept persisting, and now he's known as one of the greatest songwriters to ever do it. So let's let that be a lesson to us about starting out. Where you start at will not be where you finish. But if you never start, you will never finish. And I'll end with this. Start where you are. Start while you're unsure, unpolished, and uncomfortable. Let sucking be your proof that you're on the right path. Start bad, get better, and end unstoppable. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified with the next video. I appreciate y'all for listening. This is the Brian Wright Radio Show. Gone.